Hey folks, today we're going to talk about how to record a journal entry on Wave. We'll also talk about why you might need to do a journal entry in Wave, and I'll give you an example of what a journal entry looks like and a time when you probably will need to use it. So the basis behind a journal entry is that all accounting software, the back end, if you will, is based in double entry accounting. So that means that every transaction has two sides to it. If you don't know the accounting equation, it's assets equals liabilities plus equity. So that equal sign is like the balancing scale. When one side changes, so does the other. They always have to balance. So for instance, if you add cash to your bank for your business, assets increase because you just added value to your business, but so does your equity. So again, assets equals liabilities plus equity. That balance is staying in balance. And with modern technology, most of your transactions can easily be categorized coming from a bank feed. So you connect your bank account and all the transactions are coming through, and you're just able to list them one by one as what they are. However, your books are supposed to be a reflection of the transactions your business makes. And sometimes, this is going to sound weird, but sometimes the bank account is not a good reflection of the actual transactions. So for instance, the example I'm going to show you today, how to journal entry, when you use a personal card, so let's say it's not a banking account, it's not connected to Wave, you use your own personal credit card to buy something for your business. Now you're going to have to reflect that transaction in your bookkeeping software. That's one instance in which a journal entry will come in handy. You also might need to make entries for accounting things like if you work from home, you're going to want to account for the fraction of your rent or your mortgage that's used for your office space, as well as utilities and internet. And those are going to be manually added since the purchase might be through your own personal card. You also might need a journal entry to just adjust for mistakes. There are so many instances where you're going to just need to manually add a transaction into your bookkeeping software. So to do it in Wave, it's a little different from a typical transaction. So for instance, if you go here in this sample account and you click Create New, normally you could do most manual transactions off of this Create New button, but a journal entry is not part of it. So to do a journal entry, you're going to go down to Accounting, and you're going to go to Transactions. And here, over in the Add Transaction button, you're going to see Add Journal Entry. That is one of the few places you can do so in Wave. So we'll click Add Journal Entry. I'm going to show you an example. So let's say you purchase something on your personal credit card. You're going to want to write a description. So we'll say continuing education. I literally just did this. I bought myself a course of a bookkeeper who I admire greatly, who teaches how to do bookkeeping really well. So I just bought a big course, and I did it through a personal credit card. So to reflect that in my account, we're going to add more details on personal, say Amex account. I just like to use the same description on each of the sides of that balance. So this is where it's important to know debits and credits and how they work. I'm not going to go into it in detail here, but I do have another video that I'll link to here if you want to learn more about how that works. So for an expense, expenses are a debit balance. The expense of the course was, I think, $1,250. So that'll be one side of the transaction. And to balance it, we have to have a credit as well. So that was also $1,250. And the credit we're going to apply is an account that you should add to your chart of accounts called Payable to Owner. That means my business owes money to me, the owner. I paid for it out of my own personal credit card, even though it was a business transaction. Since it's not in there, we'll add the account. It's a form of liability. So we're going to say it's a short-term liability. It's going to be paid within the year. So we'll add that account. And that side's going to be credited. And once you're done, you can add notes as well, which I recommend because you're not going to remember sometimes why you made these entries. The one thing I don't like about Wave is that you can't add a receipt as well, but you should have one. You need to track what this transaction was in the event of an audit. But in this case, we're just going to save it as is. And you'll see the journal entry will be added to your transactions list. And if you go to reports, we'll now go down to account balances. You'll see a liability called payable to owner. That's credited $12.50. That means I am owed $12.50. The owner is owed $12.50. And let's say I eventually pay myself. If it comes up in the bank feed, maybe there will be a transaction that's $1,250. I can then add it to the category of payable to owner when that comes out. But that's an example of when you would use a journal entry, and that's how you would do it in Wave. So if this video was helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you need help in your bookkeeping and you literally just don't want to do this yourself, you're not sure of how accounting works, I would be more than happy to do it for you. In the description box, you'll find a link to the Profit Logic homepage. There you can schedule a time to talk with me if you'd like to see how I could help you with your bookkeeping in your business. And I also do consulting and accounting if you need help setting up an accounting system for your business. So don't be afraid to reach out or ask for help. This isn't intuitive. It's a very particular skill set. And sometimes you are better just running your business instead of having to worry about these details. So leave it to a professional when you have the funds. I recommend having at least a bookkeeper and accountant in your court. But anyways, I hope you all learned something from this video, and I will see you in the next tutorial.